Quick question. When you think about sharing client wins, does your brain automatically go to money screenshots? Because mine used to. And not having enough of them is often what stops people sharing any kind of win at all. But the thing is, some of the most powerful transformations that happen inside your work probably don't come with a pound sign attached. And today we're going to talk about those emotional wins. So if you're new here, hello and a very warm welcome to Quiet Confidence with myself, Anita Popat. So let's talk about why emotional wins might actually be more powerful than the revenue screenshots when it comes to converting your sweet spot client. And I get it, there's loads of people out there sharing the whole, my client made 10K in a month, Stripe notifications. And I'm not saying that money isn't important, of course it is, but the route to getting there is part of the journey of working with you too. And honestly, some of the most powerful, deep transformations that happen inside my work don't come with a pound sign attached. They're mostly those mindset transformations like the aha moments or just the confidence of feeling good about sharing who they are and what they're about, just as them. And I bet you have loads of moments like that too. Let me share an example of a recent screenshot I shared from a new Silent Storm client. The message said, I'm still buzzing from our call yesterday. My head fell off a little with the smiley emoji. And I could have just posted that, but obviously screenshots work best with a story. We want to add a bit of context to the screenshots that we're sharing. So this was a story that I shared with it. S sent me a message after our first Silent Storm call, and it was one of those moments that really stuck with me because before she started working with me, she stopped posting content completely because she wasn't sure how to articulate the depth of the value that they bring with the work that they do. She was either going too personal or too technical, both like opposite ends of the spectrum, but most importantly, it wasn't the topics that her ideal clients would be interested in. So as always, we started right from the root and we saw a mismatch straight away. The brand values that she wanted to evoke were not what her content was saying, which is why she was attracting the wrong people. And the thing is, if she hadn't have taken the time to think about these, she would have just carried on posting in the same vein, or not posting at all in her case, because you're often too close to your business to see the subtle signals that you're giving out. And it's often unintentional, which is why I love to do this work, because it gives you the space to just stop and think, and you have me as a sounding board to bounce ideas with. So obviously we mapped out exactly what her sweet spot client needed to see by thinking about the emotional journey and the wins of her existing clients, the ones that she wanted more of. And the ideas didn't stop. You could see in the way she was responding and the way her face lit up. And obviously the screenshot she sent me about her head falling off, which was so good to see. But the most important thing for me was that she was excited to post again. And it was something that she hadn't felt in a long time. And that's equally as important to me as the money wins. And it's exactly why I share screenshots and lessons from client calls all the time. Because moments like this, where someone goes from kind of stuck to excited, that's probably the journey your ideal clients want you to take them on. And it's not always about the end result. Remember, the journey to get there is just as important because different people are going to resonate with different ways to get to wherever it is that they want to go. And your way might just be the way that really pulls them in. Let's think about this a bit deeper. Like when someone sees a revenue screenshot, they could think, oh, that's amazing, but I'm not there yet. Or, yeah, but their business is different to mine, and they might just like shrug it off. But when someone sees someone who was stuck and overwhelmed and suddenly get excited and clear, like I said before, that could be them right now. And they can see themselves in it and think, hold on a second, if she figured out that much in one call, imagine spending 3 months with her. And remember, people buy based on emotion and justify with logic later. So we want to give them both in your content. Sharing the emotional win gives them the feeling that they're chasing, and the money screenshots back the feeling up after with the logic. And not all emotional wins hit the same. The ones that really land are the ones that speak to the invisible struggle that your sweet spot client is having right now. Remember, it's a thing that they're not posting about, but they're definitely feeling, which is why you really need to know them inside out. Because when you share stuff like, oh, my client feels like they can finally breathe again because they're not constantly anxious about where the next client is coming from, that hits different because you're triggering them emotionally. And your ideal client will know that exact feeling of checking their phone every 5 minutes to see if anyone's engaged. And when they see themselves in your content, you're building trust instantly. And trust is what moves them from just following to checking out your paid offers. So think about the emotional wins that are happening in your work that you might be overlooking. So for me, it's things like clients who finally stop second guessing every post and hit publish, or the ones who realize that their niche that they've chosen really fits them like a glove, or the people sending me voice notes when they listen to a podcast episode and they say, I really feel seen when I listen to your words. And these moments matter just as much as the revenue wins. That's the power of emotional transformation because it's visible, it's relatable, and it shows the journey, not just the destination. And your ideal client probably isn't looking for proof that your thing works. They already know that. They're looking for permission that it can work for them too. And they've probably told themselves 100 reasons why they're different, why their situation is more complicated. And the emotional wins that you share break through that resistance. So use both. Like money screenshots will show the end result of where people can get to and the aspirations, and the emotional wins show the path to get there. The people you're trying to attract need to see both, and more importantly, they need to believe that the path is possible for them first. So if you want to capture these moments in your own work, just screenshot the client messages as soon as you get them. Because in that moment when you've just got off the call or when you've just received the message, you're going to be in that excited, grateful energy state. And that's when your words are going to hold all that energy as well. So I'll often write draft posts when I'm in that energy of gratitude. Because if you leave it till later, obviously that whole feeling will go and your words aren't going to have that wonderful energy infused in them. And that's where the gold is. Because like I always say, your energy can be felt in your content. And we want to make sure we get as much of that into your content as we can. The easiest way to do this is when you're on calls with clients. What a lot of people do is they'll finish working with people and ask for a testimonial at the end. Don't do that. While you're on calls, keep an ear out or just ask like, where were you before and what's different to you now or what's changed? And this gets you the before and after that give you all the stories you can use in your marketing. Keep a running list that you add to all the time. So every time you spot a moment of relief or an energy shift, add it with the context and really think about like, what were they struggling with, what shifted and how did they describe it? These are going to be the wins that make your sweet spot client think, oh, that's exactly what I need, because they're about feeling different, being different, and living differently. You know these moments are already happening in your work. You just need to start noticing them and giving them the same weight as you give a money win. Remember, your sweet spot client is looking for proof that you really get them, and the emotional wins show that in a way that the money screenshots just can't. So the next time you're hesitating about sharing a win because there's no monetary value attached, just ask yourself, like, would my dream client see themselves in this story? If they would, then share it. So go back through your client messages, your testimonials, all of your post-call notes. The emotional wins are already there. If you want help getting to the roots of who you are, what you stand for, and how to turn all of the stuff that you do already into content that actually sounds like you and sells like you, then I'd love to invite you to join Silent Storm, where we do exactly the kind of work I've spoken about today. You can find out more info in the show notes. I'll pop a link there. As always, a huge thank you for listening. If you enjoyed it, I would really appreciate if you could share this with your network so that I can help even more people build their quiet confidence and make that loud impact in the world. Speak soon.